and welcome to the Flory Models TFI Friday show. Here we are with you live on the 4th of June 2021. Now, before everyone starts, I don't know if some of you had a grey box that said starting soon and everything else that was going on. I have no idea what that is about. I haven't seen it before. Honestly, my lord, I have never touched anything, moved anything. I just copied the link as I always do. But some of you had it, some of you didn't. It was the same for us because on my phone it was fine. But looking at the computer, it said starting in a minute. And I was more concerned it was going to auto start without us. So anyway, we are all good. We trust you're all doing very well. We doing all right, guys? How's it going?
Okay.
Yeah, fine, thanks, Ish.
It only feels like 18 hours ago we were here. Here we are back again, and there goes Sam. Good afternoon to everybody. Obviously, good afternoon to, we know there's a bit of a problem with the audio. It's all right, I've had a pop-up that comes up. It's because we had it muted when we started, but hopefully it's all right now. Yes. Let me just get rid of this. How do you get rid of that? There we go. I can see now. There we go. It's all working. So yes, all good stuff. Trust you're all doing very well in YouTube land. Obviously the live chat is on there. So usual thing, we'll do our little bit and then we can do questions and just general chit chat and everything a little bit afterwards. And hello, obviously, to the Flory family. Isn't it amazing when you look in there? It's like 2-3 people, and then you get to 3 o'clock on the nail, and it's just rammed. Yeah. Good afternoon to everybody on there. Quick question to answer this one. I've had a couple of people mention, because now we're on Patreon, about obviously with Patreon you can use Discord with it and all the rest of it. There's not a lot of point because we've got our own chat room. It's what obviously your money pays for and all the rest of it. So that's the whole point of it. Use the chat room that is set up with the forum and all the bits and pieces that goes on with it, and it's all in one place, and it's a lot easier than us having another way like a Discord channel coming in and stuff like that. So yes, so good. Anyway, we're all good down in there.
Can you do live video through Discord as well there?
Can you what?
Can you do live video through Discord?
Can you? I don't know. So what, instead of using the YouTube?
Well, no, just thinking, as well as, or,
Well, it's something we can look into. Don't forget, I've literally only got into Patreon in the last month trying to sort it out for the European members. But again, if it's something, only because we've had a few that obviously with the Europeans, and we've got a few UK ones and US ones as well that are going through Patreon now instead of the normal way. And it just got mentioned. A few of you have said about if you thought about doing that, and at the time it was like, no, why? But again, if it's a call for, we can do it. It's not a problem. We can, say I don't know anything about it. I've never used it before. But, certainly if it's what people want, we can help out and get it sorted. So good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Thank you very much.
So,
we always experiment with it, can't we?
Phil, is Kitty Hawk closing? Do you know what? I'm surprised that it took to be the 6th question for that to come up. I thought it'd probably been questions 1 through 10. Unfortunately, it does look like they are. Again, I've been, like a lot of us, probably scouring the internet and the various bits and pieces for information, and a few people I know in the industry as well I've spoken to, and a couple of them have come back, and it is. But apparently, again, it depends which way you want to read this. I've heard on one side that they've cancelled all future releases. That's not going to happen now, and their possibility of the kits being sold to continue, which would be quite handy, or end of production and they're going to cease and the company will close and that will be the end of it. So again, I haven't had definitive from either direction of that. And again, you know us here, we don't do the old speculation and start in rumours and all the rest of it. We've got burnt enough times with Wing That Wings. But that's what I've heard. But as far as going forward, Kitty Hawk's going forward, it isn't. That's it. It's stopped. So, obviously PM models, like a lot of companies out there, have removed Kitty Hawk from their listing and things like that. A lot of that, like we did say on last night's show, if you didn't see it, was a way of us finding out what's going on first. So we need to know what's going on, and then obviously, we can go from there with it. But we didn't want to be in a situation where there was people panic buying and just stripping out stocks and it turns into graphics card world and stuff like that. So we've just taken the decision at the moment. We've pulled our listings from it as well, just until we find out exactly what's going on. And then obviously we will go from there. So, and obviously all our kits then will end up on eBay under a pseudonym, Mr. Andy Molyneux's account.
Yeah, what's the opposite of a 50% discount?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we'd be having a 50% increase sale. But no, we spoke about it a lot last night. We can cover it again as well a little bit later on if people have got various questions and things in there and stuff. So, but yeah, it again, I'm quite disappointed they've gone. I won't lie. I would say I like their kit, like we were saying last night. So it is a little bit of a shame. So anyway, good job. Anyway, so if we just have a browse around, because to be honest, we've got absolutely tons to talk about today. Starting off with, obviously, the Zero build has finished now. Has come to an end. I've got a better one than this. Where's the other one? Where's Zero? And then we get rid of that. There we go. So obviously it's been a fantastic build. So part 11 went up this morning for the actual final one. There's also a reveal video down in here about it. It's probably been doing its bit around the internet and everything. But yes, the Zero is completed and finished off, which is the latest build for actually last month. So gone down very well. Beautiful kit. Tamiya through and through. Love it. It's one of those ones when you're building Tamiya, afterwards you have that real sense of, well, that's Tamiya for you, because it was just a dream fit, no fit issues, no problems anywhere at all, and it went in. And as I say, there is the final part, and normally my videos are always around about half an hour or sort of 40 minutes, but this particular one is a little bit more because I've done a special on figure painting, because I know nothing about it basically, so I thought it'd be just funny to give it a whirl. So I've done a video, it's like 30 minutes, which I've tagged on to the end of it as a bonus feature where I painted this little guy and we showed it. The other one as well with this particular kit is I used the Quinta Studios 3D decals, but they're not decals, I don't know, quite resin kit. And they are fantastic and amazing and look brilliant. As you can see, they really do work in there. From any angle they just stand out and it makes it all pop. So from that point of view, I think it was well worth doing those, and I can see myself using them again, because again, this is it as well. This stuff does bend, which I thought it wouldn't, but it does. It curves and conforms and goes down and all looks great. So you know, it's good stuff with that one. But yeah, generally love it. Lot of fun with that particular build. Enjoyed every minute of it. But anyway, the full video build is up as obviously for members to watch. And then there is the little reveal video if you want to see that one down there as well, which just shows it going around on the turntable. But yeah, the internals and that before we got going with it. So it was a good old system on there. So thoroughly enjoyed that one. So that was going down very well. And then up this week, we've had a couple of reviews. So first up, obviously yesterday we had the Cobra, which actually won the poll. So we're going to be using, this will be started next week for the next video build. So talk about release and then build it. So we'll be going through the thing about that one. And luckily for me, I've actually got some reference photos of this thing as well from a museum visit I did. So hopefully I'll be putting those to good use. Generally the kit's very nice. It goes, you know, looking at it on the sprues and things like that, it's not overcomplicated. It's going to go together, I think, quite straightforward. There is some very nice touches with it, like very large areas for the tails to go in. So like these tails, you've got these large locating ones. So hopefully this seam will be pretty much seamless because of it. So that's a nice touch. And again, in here, I know they've already announced it, but you've got all the parts for the later version. This is the early, so you've got the different tails, and there's a few other lumps and bumps, the exhaust, the things like that in there as well. Clear parts are obviously all very nice and clear as well. So yeah, but you can see the review of that. That is up there as well. And then also today, great review on the Whirlwind. So this little one is up as well, and again, instructions, very nice. Apparently I have been told that there is a problem with the instructions with the call outs to some of the parts, but again, I'll have to double check that when I get a bit of time. But the instructions apparently calling out wrong. Decals look very nice. Again, typical of Special Hobby. They don't tend to polish too well the actual model, so they always look a little bit textured, but a closer look, you can probably just see it in here. It's got very fine recessed panel lines, very fine riveting detail, and all the details are on it. Okay, so it's all exactly where you want it to be. And in some areas, I know it's probably one of these happy little accidents, but certainly this is actually a sink mark, but because it is following the panel line detail on the interior, it looks like stressed skin. So, and I know for a fact it's not, they've just fudged it, but it does work because it looks pretty spot on as well. So that's a little nice touch with it. The wing system is again very nicely done. As you can see, Great detail all the way through on that one. So again, don't be put off by sort of, you know, Special Hobby having this sort of limited run look to it. Over the years, they've got far better than they've ever been. And obviously I did the X15 a couple of months ago, and that's one of their older kits, and it shows, because this one is literally night and day. And you see the sprues now, the detail that is on the sprues is pretty much on par with anybody else. They're nice, they're clean, there's no real sink marks, there's no flash all over it, they're pretty sharp as well. As you can see, great details on these. And again, something you wouldn't have seen probably off a Special Hobby a few years ago, but now they've really stepped up. The locating, the actual sprue tabs, things like that, they're nice, they're fine. You know, they're not grind, chunky things like they used to be. So the detail is all there now, which is very nice to see them come along and go through. And again, big old wingspan on this. Now we know why the box is so big. It's huge. So the wingspan is the same size as the box, but you can probably see here in the riveting detail and the panel lines, they're very fine, very crisp. So yeah, they've really come a long way and stepped up. Really complex shapes on this, but actually it's not too bad. It's not perfect, there's a little bit of distortion and wobble, but actually it's quite nice. And the other thing I do like about it is that the actual cockpit front screen is molded into the body. So it's not like just on top, it's properly in there now. So if you do need to do some cleanup and some filler work and stuff, it's not near the clear parts, which again is another little nice touch to it. We've seen Tamiya do it, and now obviously Special Hobby's doing it as well. So it's a nice touch. But no, it's gone down very well. So that one is up with you. Again, you can see that in the review section if you want to pop along, and obviously all the reviews are down in here. And to be honest, I've got another one coming up with you Monday, which we spoke about. We've got the Special Hobby, which is actually the Hasegawa 72nd Aardvark. So that will be up with you on Monday as well. But you say all the reviews are down in there, and if you want to go through categories of them, they're all in these as well. So you just click on a category and it'll take you off to it. The shorter run ones, which we don't have categories for, just go in miscellaneous and you'll find a load of other ones in there just like that. So really, that was in there. This week's been pretty busy. Obviously we had part which was 10. I don't know why it's got the thing 10 on there, but that was down on Monday, so we worked on that one. We did obviously the show on Tuesday. We spoke about lots of different bits in this one. So obviously we were running a poll for the next video build, which we've now closed because we picked it out on last night's show, which is the Cobra. But also we were talking about subscriptions and various bits and pieces and answering your questions as well. So that was down in there on that one. Wednesday was obviously the, where are we, PM show, with obviously Matt, and obviously Andy was with us, and we were doing things, all things PM. And as you know, Matt's actually on holiday at the moment. He's not, he's probably watching this if we're honest, but he's pretending to be on holiday. But anyway, he'll be back at it on Monday and all the rest of it. So, but anyway, you can catch up with all the comings and goings and all the gossip and bits and pieces we were talking about down in there. So obviously that was on there. And then last night, I haven't got a thumbnail for it yet. Obviously, we had the usual sort of, you know, bum fight, which is the Flory Model Thursday night show. And that's in there. And obviously, it's linked in with a Cobra review just like that. So, yes, a busy week, really. Busy week. Finishing it off. Considering I finished the actual Zero over the weekend. And it was done. But so this week, I've been catching up with everything and doing stuff. And I've literally not stopped. I need to get some building done to have a break. So
I think I phoned Matt yesterday and I said, "Where are you?" And he says, "I'm at work." And I think he was like waiting to take his car in or pick his car up or something. And then I phoned him today and I said, "Where are you?" He says, "I'm at work."
Yes.
Waiting to pick his car up or take home or something. So yeah, even though he's on holiday, he's been in work every day.
Well, we can all ask him how his MOT went.
Yes.
Yes, and how far can you push a tyre?
Yeah.
Trust me, we'll be discussing this and lots more next week's show when Matt's on, and he can tell us how much wire can come through a tyre before it explodes.
He's hunting for a new wheel now, though.
Yes, that's it. I know he's had a bit of a trouble because he's got a cracked alloy and oh yeah. So, but yes, the pros and cons of run flat tyres, everyone. But yeah, so anyway, he'll be back on obviously next week and things like that to make our way through. So yes, that was this week. Bless it. Very busy week. Let me grab a thing. So anyway, how you guys been doing? All good?
Yeah.
Fine, yeah. I've done loads of invoicing this week, as people probably know. We had some more Lancasters come in, 10 more Lancasters came in. And also we had some of the Revel camper vans.
Yes, the new ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course it's a bit short because we weren't sure that they'd actually. Well, we didn't know that they'd come out until they came out. Yep. So yeah. So I think 3 people had wanted those, so they've been invoiced. And 10 more Lancs came in, so the next 10 people have been invoiced for them, and also the tornadoes.
Yes.
Jeff could have put some up actually.
I was going to say, yeah, you should have checked them up on the site.
Yeah. Tornadoes are done. Everybody's been invoiced apart from one person from Denmark. Just need to sort out price for postage.
Yeah.
Everyone else has been invoiced for. Some have had 1, some have had 2. A couple of people that had Lancs and tornadoes, so they've been invoiced as well. But yeah.
Yes.
And quite a few people then messaged me and said, "Can you add? Can you add? Can you add?"
Which, as lovely as it is, people, it's proper annoying. Because obviously, I know how it works, and it's like, you have a kit, you go to the box, and it's done. The bit where you've then got to add stuff in and bring invoices in, and obviously refunding of postage and those types of things as well, it becomes a bit of a fight.
I do understand, because, like I said, it does save on postage and things. It's just, when you're invoicing, I've probably sent out 120 invoices this week. And then, Monday we're going to be sorting out 120, hopefully, if everyone's paid, kits to go out.
Yes.
Plus the normal run-of-the-mill stuff that we get, throughout the weekend. Yeah. Yeah, so probably then another 60, 70 orders or whatever to do. It's just and trying. It's not the thought of doing it. It's the. Jerry, if you're in Denmark, that's the one we haven't done yet. Because we just need to Matt's going to sort out postage, find out from postage from post office. It is Denmark, isn't it? Yeah. So it's just trying to. It's the remembering to do it, because there's so many, sort of like different ones, and we do try our best.
Yes, definitely. Anyway, Nate, how's your week been? All right?
Been busy, but not in here because it's been half term.
Yes.
I've been to Anna and Elsa party.
Nice.
A Moana party.
Did you dress up?
No. So I've had a week built around what a 3-year-old wants to do.
Yes.
I'm absolutely shattered, but it's been a good week. Weather's been glorious.
Oh, it is. Like, today's beautiful out there. It's complete blue skies, and it's about 22 degrees, I think. It's lovely. Yes. Can't fault it at all.
Can I just say, sorry, Finland, not Denmark. My fault.
Right.
We're just waiting to get the postage for that, and as soon as we get it, that's the only one we haven't invoiced. As soon as we get the postage, I'll sort the invoice out for you.
Yeah.
Cool. All good.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So a big thanks to Andy for all his recent deliveries, all received safely. That's from John Mack, is that? So no problem. Good afternoon from Sweden. Very nice. Wayne says, where do you buy the tubular stands for aircraft? Do you mean the acrylic rod? I take it that's what you mean. And to be honest, I just get it off the internet. There's a couple of acrylic places, and then you can buy it in different lengths. So, to be honest, I usually buy it in that length, which is 1 meter, isn't it? Because it works out cheapest. If you buy it smaller bits, it's quite expensive. But if you buy it by a meter, it's great. And they always send you something really nice piece of dowel normally to go with it, because they usually strap it to a piece of dowel. So you end up with a piece of dowel, like a broom handle, free. So, but yeah, so like this one here, I think it's 10 mil. That's 10 mil, which is quite a small one. Actually, I probably should have gone for something like a sort of more of a 12 or a 15. But yeah, that's how I do it. And then that way you can just heat it like we've shown on many a video and bend it into shape. I assume that's what you mean. Again, I might play with one day. The hollow one is obviously a lot cheaper. And I have a theory, but again, you could put lights and LEDs inside it and get it to, with a little bit of fibre fill and get it to do it that way. I'm not sure how it would work, because obviously you still got to hide the wiring somehow in there. But yeah, that's definitely something I'd like to do in the future, have a play with.
Can I just say that we've had a few messages on the Peer Models emails, people saying thanks and how much they're enjoying the videos. that we do, all the time. And it's really nice to get the feedback, from people. It's like, appreciating it. Just makes what we do worthwhile.
Yes, as opposed to the other one say, please stop.
You're annoying my dog.
Yeah, that's it. You put my wife to sleep every night, but I watch you in bed. That's what I get. Your dulcet tones make me feel suicidal. Those types of ones.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Phil, Andy and Nathan. Hernia operation went well. Sorry, this is Stuart. That he's done. Dressings came off this morning. Very sad about Kitty Hawk and Panda. Tears. Well, I'm glad the hernia operation went well. No lifting anything now forever.
Take it easy.
Yes, definitely. Let's see. Nick says I've heard that they've got too much stock and we're stopping production temporarily. Ooh, so this is obviously other things going on. So yes, as I say, I think that's the trouble now. The rumours are going to start, like wingnut wings, because some of the stuff that was floating around about wingnut wings, it was blatantly not true, and that's why I purposely made a decision not to talk about it anymore, because it was getting really out of hand, some of the stories that were going around. So yes. Afternoon from Cornwall, Andy. Very nice down here at the moment. That's tonight's viewing sorted. There you go. Lots to watch and see, definitely. Lovely build on the zero. Oh no, don't do that. No, go away. Don't restart. Where are we? Sorry. Just lovely build on the zero. Tempted to get one. Always like the aesthetic look of the zero. It is. It's a smart looking aircraft.
It is, isn't it?
I think as well is that when you do your little bit of the history on it, of the development of the Zero and stuff, I think, the thing had no armour, it had no self-sealing fuel tanks, it was literally lethal to fly it, it had no protection for the pilot whatsoever, and you often think the courage to fly around in these things and stuff. And again, like I've said, is I know you guys have seen it as well, is go onto Netflix and watch Eternal Zero, because that gives you a really different look about the Japanese kamikaze and the crews and things like that as well, from the Japanese point of view to it, and it gives a whole new sort of perspective on all of that as well. But yes, it's definitely a very interesting aircraft.
It was just
sorry, go on.
It was just small, fast and manoeuvrable, wasn't it?
Yes.
But then when you think that if you go look at our armour that Britain had during the Second World War, we were exactly the same. Got no armour on them, sort of like petrol tanks. So
petrol tank on your lap.
No
it was the Hurricane's problem, wasn't it? Because it didn't have a firewall between the fuel tank and it was just behind the instrument panel, wasn't it?
Which sat here,
So you sat with it literally on your lap, and it's like 200 litres of fuel literally in your lap. So if it took a round and leaked all over you, and that's why so many of the crews unfortunately didn't make it out. But no, definitely very, very much an interesting aircraft. And I must admit, Nate, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's an article on YouTube where a guy discussing the when they sent 109s to Japan. Have you seen that one? And how they sent the Japanese pilots were up against the German test pilot, but he was performing manoeuvres with the 109, so it couldn't work with, so they could never test it properly, but they were convinced it wasn't as good as the Zero. So for it, so it's very interesting sort of article on that one about how they tested it, and obviously with the price of it and various things that couldn't be agreed on. But no.
Zero was dominant at the start of the war, though, wasn't it? But then it just got outpaced by development, didn't it? But like you said, you had to be brave just to. I mean, flying off a carrier in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in one of them.
Yes.
They're thinking about, does it?
No, definitely. But as I say, it is an interesting subject, and I often think that it does get overlooked, obviously, by the Spitfires, 109s, things like that. Everyone thinks of those and the poor old Zeros and those types of aircraft, because to be honest, I don't even know because obviously they've got the Western names were given to them, like the Kate, wasn't it, and all the rest of them, for the different versions of them. But they were pretty much, from a modelling point of view, you don't really see them around as much as you see obviously others. Like, how many times has Zero's been released? And then you look at 109s and Spitfires, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, like I said, I remember reading some time ago that the Zero was the most modelled aircraft in the world, but the Japanese make a lot of models, and
That was it, yeah. Playing to the home market.
Aircraft, isn't it? So.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is. I must admit, as I said before, this is one of those ones where I remember it came out in the Tamiya catalogue. And if you're of a certain age, you'll remember that coming out. You used to go to your model shop, wouldn't it? And they'd have a pile of them on the table normally, on the actual counter, and it'd be like, oh, I have one of them. And then you go home and you're going through it. And I remember seeing the picture of it, and it was like big centre spread of that particular kit, and it was like, wow, look at that, and all the rest of it. And I remember it coming into the model shop when it very first got released, and then having a look through the box and all the rest of it and being like, oh wow, that's like something quite special, you know. So but never built it, that was the thing. So this was my sort of opportunity to do it. So, but yes, it's definitely one of those kits, once you've built it, even though, like I say, I'm a complete hypocrite, as everyone knows, because I'll tell you about how a fantastic sense of achievement you get when you build a really dog of a kit. But actually you get a nice warm fuzzy feeling when you finish that one as well, because it went together with no drama, no issues. It just fits, goes together, and it's built. So again, it's one of those real nice sense of satisfaction jobs. John says, just started my first build with an airbrush. I'm using Pledge Clear to do I spray it neat? One wet coat. How long dry before putting decals or weathering on, please? I always spray it neat, to be honest. If I do, I don't tend to use it as much as I did in the old days. To say, if you go back sort of 10 years, I used it for everything, but these days I don't tend to. But if I do, it will literally be just a nice wet coat right the way over it. It will dry within 10-15 minutes anyway, but I certainly wouldn't go overcoating it or anything for at least an hour before you go in. And as for doing stuff over the top of it, like decaling, and obviously for weathering, especially washes and that, I would always leave it 24 hours. Like we said, a lot of people often used to say about micro sole, if I get it out, this is one of the classics as well, because it is like a mild acid. If you've got it on your wing, if you're doing like a round or you're marking on there, then what happens is that you put a brush coat of this over. If the clear hasn't completely gone off, or if you put this on too thick, you end up with like a white ring, and that's because the acid is eating into the surface of the clear. It's quite easy to get rid of, because all you do is put another coat of clear over the top and it melts in and will re-level and sort itself out. But that's because it hasn't totally gone off yet as well.
The only problem I find with Pledge Clear is it beads up very, very easy.
Yes.
If you just that knacks over on how much you're putting down, you'll end up with beading and runs on it. Especially
on decals as well. If you try and airbrush over decals, they tend to bead up, and when it dries, you get blotchy marks because it's dried in lumps and stuff. So, do you use it, Nate?
I use. I've still got. It is my gloss.
Cracky's got the original one.
But I use a brush.
You use a hairy stick, yeah.
I've never sprayed it. I've got a brush here that's what, centimetre and a bit wide, just a flat brush.
Yes.
This one needs a proper clean. It's like another dead brush, but I brush it on because it self levels. I mean, like you said, I would leave it an evening. I always try and make it like the last job I do before I finish is put a gloss coat on. But when I was doing that on Saturday, I was putting decals on within 10 minutes. Although just with water, not with any setting solution. But I put a thin coat on with a brush, and maybe 2 coats, and then you've got a gloss finish. But I'm one of these people that I've got a gloss and that works for me, and I've got a flat that works for me, and I've not budged from them in 10 years.
Which is good. It's what you should do.
So these ones, when these were going in Astra, I bought a couple of these jars. This is my last jar, but I do 72 scale, so that'll last me a good while.
Yes. And to be honest, for people who are wondering, the new one doesn't look like this either, but to be honest, I actually had it. I don't know if this was the gentleman I spoke to earlier, but I had an email earlier, somebody asking about this, but couldn't find it anywhere. But he's looking for that. So they've changed it now to Pledge Floor Care is now Pledge Revive It. So that's it. So it's like a brown label, but it's this shaped bottle, but now it's got a brown label. But they seem to change the design and the name every year, but it's still the same stuff inside. It's still the clear stuff, which is good because it went to be in that white one at one point, and it was horrible.
I quite like the white one because it smells nice.
It does smell extremely nice. It does make your modelling room smell gorgeous, and your partner will be very happy because it smells lovely. But I found it too thin. It's thinner than this, so. But yeah, they call it Pledge Revive It now. It's the same size of label and everything, but it says Revive It and it's brown. So I don't know why they keep changing the label every year, but
I've got one the same as Nathan's, but mine's now almost yellow and it's like treacle. It's that old, and then I've got a couple of bottles of the nice smelly one, the white one, and I've got that one same as you. I thought I'd got a brown one, but
the one thing I couldn't tell you if it's UV sensitive because my models spend all year in boxes, so I don't. That's the one thing I don't know with this floor polish is if you have it in a well lit room, I don't know if it yellows over time.
Well, this is the thing. If you want to go back literally 15 years now, one of the shows I did back from my old house, I used to have a west-facing window. And what used to happen is I had a model, I had an F4 with just a pole, and it used to be on my windowsill. And the joke was you'd go, ta-da! And it was like literally, you know, it looked fine. It just looked like it was like this colour, but the other side was grey. But it was like gull grey on one side and the other side was like creamy colour. And it was literally because the light was hitting it and it had yellowed all of it. And that's because it had a coat of clear over the top as the last coat and nothing else on it. It was that had gone slightly.
Eddie in chat has got a follow-on question from the last question. He says, what do you actually use matte, satin and gloss coats for?
Well, technically it's the finish. If you're using a clear coat for this, you've got two options. It's basically a finish or an effect. So are you using it for the final coat? So like when you've finished your model, before you've unmasked it, you might find that it's looking too glossy or something else like that. You can go and then obviously put them on. So if you wanted a gloss finish, obviously you gloss it. If you wanted a satin, a flat. To be honest with you, I'm slightly different because I put down my clear coat as such just before weathering. So then what happens is when I'm doing the weathering of it, so that may be washes, it may be oils, as you can see on the screen there, and things like that, is that by you polishing it, rubbing it, sanding it, whichever way you're doing to actually that particular type of weathering will give you that type of finish as well. So I tend to do mine. So when you look across it, like for instance on mine, you can see a minute ago I was doing a bit of oils on the side. They're quite dulled, and then other areas you look across look quite shiny. So it's not like it's just a matte finish, a gloss finish or a satin. Different areas have a different look to it. So that's the thing with my finishes, and I've been doing that for years now. But a lot of people still do that way of like finish the model before you unmask it. Like this is your completed model, it's deckled, it's weathered and everything. They'll give it its final coat. So Nathan's probably got still what I would highly recommend as being one of the best matte coats.
Yeah.
Which is the extra acrylics matte varnish. Was it XXF something in it or something? The number?
I think so. I mean, XAFF. I like this because it's water based. So I have had a few times where I've put too much on, oh crappy doodles. Just with my thumb, I've brushed it off.
Yes.
Because it's water based, it doesn't attack the surface, the paint underneath.
I've got their varnish. I've never tried it.
Yeah. I've never used their gloss though. I just use their flat.
Yeah.
But if you put water in it and thin it more, it goes satin. That's quite useful. If you want a really flat coat though, I reckon super flat. I've got XF86.
Yes. Yeah.
That's like dead flat. That thing. So if I want a really flat,
flat.
Use that one.
Well, like Phil says, it depends on what you're building and what sort of finish you want. If you're doing a vehicle, you might want it a gloss coat. If you're doing an armour, you might want it a matte coat. If you're doing an aircraft, you might want it a satin coat.
Yes.
And also, even if you are doing those, if you're weathering something, you can't really weather oils over a gloss coat. Come off too easy. So you need to have it a satin coat. So even if you want, so if you put your spray down and you've got a gloss coat, you possibly might need to make it a satin to be able to do what Phil's been doing on the video, so like using his oils to get the oils to actually stick, and pigments and
anything you're using,
to stick to it. Or pencils, they won't stick to a gloss coat. So you need to alter that, make it a rougher surface to get them to stick. But then you can then go back over gloss if you wanted it gloss again. Or armour. I like doing armour. So a nice flat coat I think looks better in armour than it does any other coat. So it depends on what you're building.
It is, and obviously if you look at different versions, like this one, I wanted it to be quite clean. I didn't want it to be literally chipped and falling apart and hanging. So with that particular one, we went for a very clean look. But you can see on the video there, if you catch it in the light, you'll see it's got like a gloss finish to it. It doesn't, because when you look at it, it's not like a satin finish we were going for. But that's the thing, different areas have got different looks to it. But something like down on here with the Seahawk, because they are very flat looking, there's no real, you'll never get a reflection off a Seahawk. Okay, so with that one, it was a case of flat coat right over it. So that did have a coat of Tamir's XF86 right the way over it, and to do gloss in the tail was gloss red, so we had to flatten that down as well. So we just did the lot right over the top of the decals. So also when we went in with the washes and all the bits and pieces with it, everything matted down and all the weathering sticks to everything and grip, so it takes a little bit to get it to come away, and then that way you can get that sort of patchy, worn, weathered look to your model pretty straightforward and very easily. So that was the reason for doing it in that one. But again, if you were doing armour, for instance, it would always be flats. I certainly wouldn't mess around going in there and with glosses and things on armour, because you just want it to be flat and away you go. So yeah, definitely interesting one.
But can I just say that if we were talking about AK real colours where the armour ones are dead flat, but there might be a time where you want to say put a wash on something, say one of those clay washes, and you don't really want to put onto a dead flat surface, or if you've got a lot of decals, you might want to use a glossier satin finish to put your decals down. So in that case, you might have to go the other way around and gloss it up before you're trying to do something, and then flat it again.
Yes.
So it's one of the downsides of them being completely flat, isn't it? It's the good as a finished product, but if you want to do something with them otherwise, that doesn't involve your products that need a flat surface, you have to gloss it back up again and mess around with them. But that's why we have different products to do different things.
And again, I think it's just one of those things. Sometimes, as I say, the classic example is not this one, the other one, but the AK armour colours, I find them very flat. So when if I was to use them again, I didn't do it that time, but now I've learnt a little bit more, I would probably give this a satin finish, clear coat, right the way over it before I go in with weathering. Just because I found it very flat. Things stick to that quite a lot, which is great if you want to go for heavy weathered. But if you want to go with something that you can work with, so perhaps using clay washes, definitely, and with your oils and that, it may be too flat for those. Great for wheels and just gear and all the rest of it, but if you wanted on top surfaces, you might want to get a little bit more off, so you'd use a clear coat on there to do it. Really, I think going back to it, clear back in the day, this was almost like your save points. So what you would do is you paint your model and then gloss it. So if anything goes wrong, you've got this as a protective barrier between obviously what you've just done and the paint underneath. And then obviously you put your decals on, because this gives a really nice glossy finish for your decals to adhere to, so you get minimal silvering. Then you used to put a coat of this over your decals to seal them in, so the weathering and oils or clays and all the rest of it can't get underneath the carrier film to ruin the finish, and you do it that way. Then normally you wouldn't use this again unless you were doing the total gloss finish at the end. But it was the whole point of this was to be a cheap, wasn't it, version of glosses.
We'd all mix that with X21
and hopefully
end up with a white coat.
End up with a frosty model. But the whole point really was that the reason this got very, very popular, and it came from really the 80s, was that a bottle of this used to be like £1.35. And I know that because I've still got some up there with the price on them. And for £1.35, you used to get 750 ml, and it was a cheap straight from the bottle into your airbrush, clear coat or hand painting, and you would just use it like that. But the trouble is this now, because I checked this morning for the gentleman I sent the email, I sent him an Amazon link for a bottle of this, it's 13 quid.
Yeah.
So you can make up now a lot of anybody else's clear coat which has got UV protection, and the big thing to remember is we were just saying this doesn't have ultraviolet protection, so this will go yellow, it will go horrible on your model if it's in direct sunlight. So if you've painted a car white and used it for glossing, then you will have a problem. Over time it's going to slightly go yellowy and yellowy and yellowy until you're going to end up with a creamy coloured car instead of it. So the pluses over this stuff back in the day have somewhat gone now, because the price, it's no longer cheap, it's expensive way. You can make it up cheaper with proper modelling stuff, or just normal sort of glosses with ultraviolet protection and UV protection, stuff like that. And also the thing with this is that it's been superseded as well in the hobby because of other newer products coming along generally, which work a little bit better.
James says that AK Real Colours, real Air Colours are superb for a smooth satin finish. They are, and that's the difference between the two. Yeah, they're perfect for aircraft because they're a satin finish, and the armour ones are perfect for armour because they're a flat finish. But there are times where you don't want it to be a flat finish, when you want to be putting on more weather and things like that. Yeah, that requires it not to be a flat finish.
Yes, definitely.
Which is, like I said, that's when you need to make it, put a satin coat on it to bring it back up again.
Yeah, but again, it's one of those ones as well, is that there has been definitely, I think, a shift in the hobby away from clears and stuff like that because of other techniques that have come along. Weathering these days tends to be a little bit more organic. That's definitely the way I do it, because I just want a satin finish. And to be honest, the best way I get a satin finish is my standard way is to use Tamiya's XF86 and put literally self-leveling thinners into it. So, and quite a thin coat. It's not like a massive, thick, heavy coat of this, thin coat, and it gives actually more of a satin finish than it does a flat finish. So if you put it on quite wet, it will self-level and sort itself out, and it's perfect, I think, for doing normal weathering. I wouldn't want it on this one, for instance. I think it would be too weathered look, and I wanted that clean, so that actually had a gloss coat, and then the oils was just a light rub over it anyway. But definitely, as you say, my life now is pretty much Tamiya's XF86 for everything. It gives me my type of look that I like. So yes. Can you get a 1/35 scale trumpeter German WR360 C12 Loco? It's the one that looks like a little diesel shunter engine. Can we get those? If it's a current one, we probably can.
Available, isn't it?
Yeah.
You say trumpeter, was it?
Yeah. I know the one he means. It's the black one. It looks like an 08 shunter back in the day.
Yeah.
They do the big thing, don't they?
Yeah. Don't know. We'll have a look. Jeff says run flats. Yeah, that's why I don't like them either. What do you reckon will happen to the Kitty Hawk SU25? It was due to be released. You won't see it. No. That's deceased.
Shame, isn't it?
So yes, Greg says don't forget to like and subscribe. Absolutely, you can all now hit the like button because it helps us apparently somewhere. I just haven't worked out how this all works yet. I thought Kitty Hawk Panda were just having temporary problems. Well, not apparently. It's a bit more serious than that.
That's not what it said on their Facebook. It was a bit sort of we're shutting, wasn't it? It looked a bit terminal.
Yeah, as I say, the only thing I can say, because I've had it from a few different sources say the same thing, is that they are not producing any new kits. That's the official line to it. So we assume obviously there's probably a stockpile of some of their old kits floating around and all the rest of it. But from what I've heard, they are not going to be doing any more runs for them. It's not like they're just not doing any more designing. They are closing. So again, we're into that realm now of like, will we see them come up like Meng did with Wingnut Wings with another manufacturer? Yeah, it'll be just one of those wait and see moments.
Meng have only done that one kit, haven't they? The Albatross, I would have thought would have been after that, but I think that was part of just a messy end to wing nut wings, wasn't it?
Yeah, from what we've heard, isn't it? It wasn't a what should we say, amicable ending to the company. So there was lots of loose ends that needed to be sorted out and taken care of. So yeah, let's hope that Kitty Hawk haven't done the same type of thing. I cannot pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I think that's Russian or something. But it says, "Hello, how are you?" Yes, we're all fine, thank you. Yep, can't read that either. The bear's talking back to him. Right, balls of steel. Eh? What was that about? Pass. The guys. Stan says he enjoyed Eternal Zero after your recommendation. Yeah. It was retitled Fighter Pilot on Amazon Prime. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's popped up on a couple of the streaming services. I don't know why they changed the name of it. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Don't know, huh? Phil, can you do a review on the Airfix Chipmunk that just came out? I will do when I can get hold of one. To be honest, I was talking to Pranjit yesterday about some things, and so yes, hopefully some stuff might be coming down the line.
The Chipmunk's not actually, it's not out yet though, is it?
No,
it's in the magazine, isn't it? But they always get a dead early copy.
Yeah. So we've not had a notification that it's, because we've got a pre-order for it. So
yeah, you all need to like and subscribe, right? And if I can get enough likes, then Airfix might actually think I'm real. It amazes me. Airfix come on here and like they basically have a free advert for hours on end. But when you speak to them, they're like, well, if you had like 1 million and 10 million subscribers, then we might send you a kit. So we will see. Tom says Gecko models are to release the 1/35th scale Austin K2 ambulance with the markings of the vehicles used by the Princess Elizabeth. Oh. And for Ice Cold Alex, which is our Sandigo, you can't see, she's behind there.
yeah.
I bet we see it before the Airfix version, probably. To be honest, we've heard that's not that far out, is it, Andy? We've been talking about that one.
Yeah, we have, yeah.
So, yes, watch this space.
Because the Queen drove one, didn't she, when she joined the Second World War?
It's nice if they could time it for the Jubilee next year, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we're all getting 4 days off, apparently. Have you heard? We're getting Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Monday off.
Yeah.
Apparently. We're all having street parties again.
I hope so, because we missed out on the D-Day stuff, didn't we? Because of lockdown. And
Oh, there was people that had them work round out there, sure you.
What you tried to say, they weren't locked down.
Well, there was lots of people out on the streets with lots of bunting going around in places, so
Oh, right.
that was certain.
What are we talking? Hold on, we're talking about different paints in there. Hello guys, what do you think of the new 1/72nd scale clear prop models XA2D Sky Shark? Is that weird thing with the big prop on it?
It's really funky looking aeroplane.
That's what I was thinking. I was just thinking of the Sky Shark.
The other day. It's a funky looking aeroplane, that one. It's really weird looking.
I must admit, I haven't seen it.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah.
It's really ugly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Hats off to them for doing.
It's a Sky Raider, isn't it? It's a early version of the Sky Raider, isn't it?
Fair play for kitting that. Kit that aircraft though.
Yeah.
Again, we'll see if we can get one in for review. Nicholas says that he's bought a bottle of AK Real Colour FS36320, which is what, medium grey? Isn't that F16 grey as we call it?
I use that on my radome on my F16.
Yeah.
Yeah, H307 in old money.
Yes, which is right though, isn't it? I think because that's what it was. Yeah. Mind you, F16's radomes, they're like everything. Because they're fiberglass, they weather funky. Yeah. So if you get 10 of them in a line, they're all different colours.
It just says grey on here. US Air Force F-15, etc.
Yes.
Yeah. I
it's
like those AK paints though. Yeah, nice.
Yes. Talking Head says he remembers when clear was 99p a bottle. There you go, you see. So I don't remember it that. I remember it's £1.35 in Asda back in the day. So, because there must have been, when there was the rumour going round that it was stopping, I went to Asda with a shopping trolley and bought 15 bottles. And when I got to the till, I put them on, expecting for the woman to say, "Got a big floor to do, have you?" I was a bit disappointed when she said nothing. As if it's normal for somebody to come along with a trolley full.
Yeah, you're glossing Buckingham Palace floor or something.
Yeah.
I bought a few. I went to the Asda and got a few of them. I didn't get 15 of them. Blimey. Russell says he easily remembers when beer was 35p a pint.
Cool, yeah.
Don't remember it being 35p.
I don't know if I'm halfway through somebody else's conversation though, but the guys are talking about, I think, I say, if I'm interrupting someone's private conversation, I do apologise, but they're talking about AK, I think it is. Is it lacquer or acrylic? It's a hybrid, but it's more lacquer than acrylic. It's one of those funky ones, because I've done tests in it in the past where you can thin it with anything, but it definitely likes lacquers. So I would say it's lacquers, and I've used it with lacquers and had no problem with it. If you go back through a couple of my builds, as I say, we did the book SA, oh God, what is it? SA 10 missile system. That was done with the military colours, and then the air colours. We did the Hurricane, and went down beautifully. But so you can definitely tell the difference between flat and satin finish. So what coats do you recommend for flat, satin and gloss finish if not using Pledge? If you're using flat, I highly recommend Tamiya's XF86 and satin, weirdly, because depending how you spray it, you can actually do, if you with this stuff, if you make down like a 50-50 mix with acrylic or with lacquers, okay, quite a high air pressure, about a foot away from your model, and just dust on a coat, you can get quite a nice flat coat with it. But if you want to go with a satin finish, use a slower setting thinners, so like a, you know, self-leveling thinners, things like that, like something like one of those, okay, more of a wet coat. So I'd probably go more like 70-30, so 70% thinners, 30% of the actual this. Also air pressure right down, quite low, and put on a nice wet coat onto your model, and then it will dry to a nice satin finish. So it's actually, you got a fly in there. I was going to say, I saw that. He tried to kill you. He's still there. He's above your head. Jesus, look, he's being attacked. You really want to get rid of that body. Summer's now. You have trees all over himself, hanging down. He'll be like he's seen from Saw.
Sam's just gone to Amazon parcel, and I think it's coming with him.
Well, it's probably, well, to be honest, it's probably from his room.
Yeah.
Another Amazon parcel.
There's all those pizza boxes under his bed.
Yeah. Gloss coat though.
Yes.
GX100.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's proper.
And again, you could use it acrylic or lacquers, couldn't you? If you, well, look, we can all watch this. This is where he smashes a model.
Is this another live unboxing?
Where's the Arado gone? There it is. He won't come back now. It's behind you. I can see it on camera. How big is that? It's like an albatross. Not being funny. If I can see it on camera, it must be huge. Oh God, this is going to end badly. It's like car crash TV. So yeah, so flat satin. Also, to be honest, Tamiya's X22. That's really nice. If you're into the lacquers, any of the Tamiya lacquer ranges are really nice for it as well. And to be honest with you, lacquers, they all roughly are the same anyway. But for acrylic wise, definitely GX100 is a beautiful gloss. Again, it's really, really thick. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I put my overhead on, you'll get a better look. But you can probably see this stuff is proper thick. So when you thin it, this stuff I always would thin at least probably 60-70%. Because otherwise you're going to end up with, you know, a textured finish. It needs to go on quite wet as well. So when you're spraying it down, make sure it goes on nice and wet. Have you got it? Have you killed your fly? Do you want some fly spray? Can you order that on Amazon?
I'll soon leave the room.
Doo, doo, doo.
Can you put enamel washes over GX cloth coat? Yes.
Hmm.
What's the toughest clear satin? What's the strongest satin coating?
Well,
Probably
any of
that,
the lacquers will be. They'll be
The
bulletproof.
lacquer ones, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Who's
Yeah.
the robo voice man? Which one? Window 1, Window 2, or Window 3? Yeah, have you changed your mic over, Nate? Because you're definitely more husky.
I got a bit of a
Oh,
hay fever throat.
there you go.
Can only describe it as like a sore throat, but I've not got a cold.
And my throat's been knackered since. Oh God, since I had COVID, I think. Yeah, when I listen back to old thingamajigs, my voice has definitely got.
Sounded like Barry White next to us, weren't we?
See, that's why I couldn't be a figure painter. You see the top of my head as I'm trying to do it. Wing That Wing sold the DR1 to Meng, didn't they? Yeah, ish.
Oh,
The rumours are that it wasn't properly finished, was it?
Well, it had been signed. The rumours I heard it was with Meng anyway, because don't forget, Meng used to do the injection moulding for Wing That Wings.
yeah.
Not sure about tooling, but so the rumour was going around it was with Meng anyway. So, and then Meng just had to rebrand it a bit. So, but again, it depends. There's so many different rumours going around about there was monies owed and various things, and it was, you know, to pay off a debt. I don't know. It's, yeah. The trouble is, unless I think, you know, as silly as it sounds, there's two ways of looking at it, I suppose, but you'd think the company would say, thank you very much for everyone, but we're closing down, you know, and all the rest of it, and do the right thing, I think, by the hobby, because it's quite a close-knit community, as in the hobby-wise. So just to literally keep stum, and everyone's signed NDA so you can't talk about it, and all the rest of it. So there's so much speculation going out there. It would have been easier if they've made a press release to say, we're closing down, you know, unfortunately we can't make it work, you know, financially, whatever at the moment, blah blah blah, and it puts all the rumours to bed and everyone just moves on. But the bit they do a bit, to be honest, like what happened with Kitty Hawk, but don't forget, this is hasn't even been 24 hours yet since the announcement, that I think it's one of those things where everyone just sort of speculates because no one knows. So there's lots of disinformation going around. People start rumours for whatever reason, and that's why we don't tend to try and make rumours and various things, because I hear some weirdo stuff. I had a good one earlier, which I won't repeat, because everyone will think it's come from me and it's true. It's clearly not. It's clearly rubbish, but, you know, it does make it somewhat laughable what's going around already about Kitty Hawk, but... Anyway, Radioactive says, hold on, who's he talking to? Oh god, it's a bit tricky keeping up with everyone in here. Would AK Dark Ghost Grey in lacquer 10mm be enough for a 30-second scale jet? Depends. Again, that's really a loaded question, because it depends how you paint. I did the entire of this, because don't forget, that's all light ghost grey, and, you know, with this white underneath the belly, but the rest of it, and I didn't use, how much did I use in there? That was Tamiya, so it's still like 10mm, but I didn't use that much. Let's have a look. How much we got left? So yeah, still got a bit left over floating around in here, so I've probably got around about, I would say, another 2.5mm in there, about quarter bottle, when I did all of that. But it depends on your painting, because don't forget, that's got a grey primer, so it's not going to take much paint over the top either, and obviously the underside is white. So I would say if you're doing a 30-second scale jet, you're probably better off having 2 bottles. Bearing in mind, when I did the Enterprise, that all being that off-white colour I did, I used about 25mm, about 2.5 bottles to do that in white, because obviously you need it to cover, you want it quite thick, you know, a good solid white.
Can I just announce that I've opened the window and he's flown out?
Has he got? Oh, he's gone to get his mates.
Yeah, it says the party.
He's going to come back. Say, yeah, party over here. Go in the lads' room. There's pizzas everywhere, and it's great. Thoughts on CA for PE? So we're talking about super glue for photo etch parts.
Yeah.
I like a CA that will give you a bit of movement time, so nothing too thin. Tell you what I do. I mean, the magnet glue that we sell on the site's really good for it. Also, this Loctite 60-second glue is quite good. It's a bit thick for some bits. If you start putting big pieces down, but for small pieces, it's good. It gives you a bit of movement time, which is always a thing, because if you just put it down and it's immediately sticks, and it's in the wrong place, you're fighting against it, aren't you? And always have a debonder so that you can sort of clean your parts up or unbond it and move it again.
Yeah, I mean, I've got this stuff here as super glue. It's bloody useless because it
Gorilla Glue
to dry. But that for PE, it's good.
But it still doesn't stop him from only bringing that one to the model shows. We're all trying to stick our kits together with it.
I know, it's horrible, isn't it? But if I can get away without using super glue, I'd use a PVA if I could.
Because Nathan always brings the repair box to the model shows, which leads on to the next question. But
this is rubbish super glue.
Yes, we can all attest to that.
It's
We've
dreadful.
all tried it.
But it's good for PE. Just takes ages to dry, which is not what you want when you're trying to glue undercarriage back on.
No, you want something with instant grab at that point. I think a lot of it also as well is that CA glues are great if you're using normal photo etch, but not the coloured type. Because the trouble with the coloured type is if you want to use a debonder for cleanup, you could take the colour off of the thing. So if I'm doing, boxes and various things, then I'll just use probably normal, a normal CA glue because it's instant grab with a kicker. So just give it a squirt of kicker at the same time and you've got instant as going around with it. But if I'm doing a colour photo etch cockpit, for instance, then I'll use crystal clear. So, because obviously it's just a PVA glue, you can maneuver it around, you can squish it in, you can get it to squash up. And then the great thing is you just come along with a damp cotton bud or Q-tip and just give it a wipe round and you've cleaned it up and there's no mess. Also, the nice thing is if it does go wrong, you can get it off again. You can put a blade under it, cut it off, clean up the part afterwards, and then you can reseat it. Where with CA glue, if you try and get under it and it bends, trying to get it flat again is an absolute nightmare. So again, they both have their pros and cons, definitely. So if it's just a nice, if you were talking about putting, on a model, you've got an external photo etch set and panels and, sort of access panels and those types of things on, then yeah, I'd probably use a CA glue because it's just instant and you just squash it down and you could use a little bit of debonder around the edges if you've got any that's squished out and you're good to go. But if it's internal type stuff, and especially if it's coloured photo etch, then I'll always use a PVA glue just so you're safe and easy to get out with it. So yes. Hello team. Nathan, perhaps I'm misunderstanding, but why are you building your models and then storing them in boxes?
They go to model shows. That's the main reason. They're all here. I can see them behind the camera there, all piled up, ready to go to model shows. As far as in the house goes, there's the odd one or two in the house, but my other half prefers them not to be in there, if I'm being honest.
And also, you've got a small grabby hand child who's now fully mobile.
I have got a small grabby hand child.
So we've all been there. Your house changes at that point, isn't it? You're okay with their firstborn because they're immobile and they just roll around in circles on the floor. But the minute they start pulling themselves up, it's the time to reorganise your house.
So I tend to keep them in boxes for model shows. That's the main reason.
But also, just to say for people who don't know, Nathan's the lead for the Luftwaffe SIG.
Yes.
And obviously with the Lightning SIG as well you work with, and the Tornado SIG. So Nathan can often be found with us as well, but around the model shows with the SIGs. So if you want to say, hopefully, if we ever get the shows back again, you'll find obviously Flory models, PM models, and then obviously Nathan's always with us as well with the Tornado SIG, the Lightning SIG, but mainly the Luftwaffe SIG. The Bolton.
Fingers crossed.
Didn't you win with Bolton show last year? We were there 2 years ago.
We have won. Yeah, we won best in show in Bolton 2 years ago.
That's it. Yeah. I know, we're all stood up in the mezzanine because we were upstairs for it, and it's like, and the winner is.
I've booked in, hopefully, COVID behaves itself for Telford.
Cool.
I'm not doing any shows before then.
No.
Because we all participate in especially Luftwaffe Sig, Lightning Sig, beating the other ones as well. And so a lot of our kits are also in boxes, and to be fair, most of them are at the mine, and Phil's and Matt's particularly are all at the shop. Got a mezzanine floor, and at the moment most of them are still in boxes since the last show. Because we've not had them out, but
stock up there.
We've got tables on the mezzanine floor at the shop that when we are open, people can go and have a look and.
Which we could mention it actually. We've obviously, because of the world changing somewhat, what we've sort of come to the decision of. I know he's not here to speak, so we'll just talk for him. But obviously, me and Matt with PM Store, and obviously with Andy now, you know, for us lugging round a warehouse, and it's not a small warehouse full of kits, isn't viable. So what we have said is that we'll still be at the shows. And we'll be taking selective items and maybe pre-orders and various bits and pieces like that. But otherwise, it'd be nice that we'll still be at the shows, but more in a capacity of a meet and greet, isn't it? So we can show our wares.
I thought it was signing out autographs and having.
Well, that's it. The signed photos. You better have your other side on. Clearly, I don't want the injured side. You have to do this side. But yeah, so the idea is hopefully, you know, I think it's gonna be next year now, clearly, but we'll be back doing the model shows again like we did. But instead of us being on the sales side of it, if you like, we're going to go back to, if you remember, the old original Flory Models shows where we'd have a table full of kits and various things, of built models out, and we can answer questions and things like that, because the thought of lugging around all the different paint ranges it's not going to work anymore. It's just too big and too much.
It was bad enough before. And
yeah.
It was mainly myself and Matt loading the van up and then unloading it at the other end, and everyone at the other end got involved, didn't they? And it was
those paint racks are flipping heavy, and really fragile. If you lift it wrong, it's got
yes.
I mean, one of them's permanently damaged, and I don't know whether they'd ever move again.
No, so it will be nice next year. Hopefully, we can get back to a little bit more than that, you know, normality. But also, we can talk to you guys a lot more at the shows for a chin wag, and we can take our models along with us. Because at the moment, because it's purely sales, we've got nowhere to display. You know, obviously Nathan puts up with them, but it'd be nice to do other bits and pieces as well, and take obviously what's been finished, and obviously some of the ones in here that have never been seen yet, and get them out on the show circuit as well. So we're looking forward to that next year. Yeah. So we'll still be there. Can't get rid of that easy. Yeah, they're saying I would get 2 colours, absolutely, 2 jars of paint. It's never anything worse when you're painting and then you run out.
It's a fair point, isn't it? You could possibly manage it on one, but it's going to be marginal, isn't it?
David says, I've just shared on your Facebook message with you. With Kitty Hawk, looks like it's to be sold with no new products. Looks like the kit's to be sold with no new products. Yeah, but does that mean they're just selling off everything they've done, or are they literally? Yeah, don't know.
It's whether they sell it as a going concern, isn't it, or just get rid of the stock for the highest bidder.
Have you found any info on that?
I think it's too early, isn't it? It's like, I think might know more in a week.
Yes. Hold on, let me just. Thing is, I'm not on Facebook. Only the company is.
Yeah, I'm not picking up anything new.
Oh well. Didn't the Skyshock have a counter-rotating prop? Yes, I think it did, didn't it?
It's on the Gannett end of aircraft looks. It's a bit.
MH400 NT says, I have a problem with Flory washes which I've just received. I now have a drawer full of other stuff that I'll probably never use again. So when you decide it's time to get rid of a drawer full of fillers, there you go, you'll be fine. On the subject of clear prop kits, they were releasing a new tooled Grumman E1B tracker, or the tracer, sorry, in 1/72. God, yeah, that's a cool kit, that is. That's the one with the funny frisbee. It looks like a UFO on the top, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Kitty Hawk did it in 48?
Somebody's done it.
Somebody did it, yeah.
Is it just me, but I can't find them on Facebook anymore?
Oh, have they?
I can't either.
Ooh.
They have some.
See, it's weird because, as I say, I've spoken to a few people about it, and they're, you know, obviously they're more in the know than me over a lot of things, and it hasn't come as a surprise. But to me, it came as a real shock. Like when we went on air yesterday, I was positively, if you watch back, that's why I was talking about it. I was sort of rambling because it really was a shock that they've gone. But I spoke to a few people and they were like, not a surprise. But who knows?
Let's hope there's not too many more.
Will Nathan be building the Edard 72nd Desert Babe kit? Are you tornadoed out at the moment?
I've not built, you know what? I've not built a tornado for a year.
To say, the last one Nathan did is available to watch as a video build.
Yeah. I have done Gulf War tornadoes in the past. I'm just like, I don't think so. I've ordered one coming. But, I don't know.
I've just found a post on Facebook. I'm not saying who it's from or where it's from or whatever, but they're basically saying that, according to Kitty Hawk, they've got a year's worth of stock that they'll be selling through. But doesn't sound like they'll be producing anymore.
To be honest, the only thing I'm slightly not sceptical, but obviously I don't know, I'm just putting this out, that exact same phrase was used with Wingnut Wings, I was told. That they've got a warehouse full of stuff that they're trying to shift and turn into cash to be able to, for them to continue. And I didn't say that one at the time because I don't believe it, or didn't believe it, but that's what I was being told by people, is that they've got a lot of kits that they need to shift to turn into cash to be able then to develop the upcoming releases. And it was at the time I was hearing that and you were like, okay, seems funny. So that's almost the same rumour. That's the only reason I say that. So... As I say, I don't know. We will see.
The other problem is that our company's going to...
Shell zone.
Yeah. Our company's going to put their money into a company to buy stock off that's gone out of business or going, you know, it's sort of a bit, dest you buy stock and will you get your money back? Or will you get your stock or money back?
Well, the thing, as I say, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but if you was to be putting in a large order, you'll go through an insurance broker to insure your order. Yeah. But if that company has even got any inkling that they've got a problem, they won't get insurance. No. And that will kill a company. If the insurance broker thinks there's a chance you're not going to be able to fulfill the order, they won't insure you. And I know this through a direct thing I've dealt with in the past, and you couldn't get insurance on the order to purchase the order, so that company couldn't sell it, and because they couldn't sell it, they ended up going belly up. So it was like, literally a death spiral for the company. As soon as the insurance broker got wind that, you know, so nobody would insure them to insure the order. So hopefully it's not in that type of situation.
Is it time to have a word from my sponsors?
Yes. Hold on, can you wait like about 10 minutes and I'll finish me painting. Look, we're just moving into dry brushing territory here. Look, here we go. So look, oil wash on, and then we buff the oil wash. See, look, these figure painters, I tell you, piece of cake. So that's it, we just buff him up. I was saying to Matt, how long does it take you to paint a figure? It took me 35 minutes. Is that normal? So yeah, look, we just buff up the oils to sort of move them around and to blend. And then we'll just go in a minute. You'll see it. It's just the last bit, this, and then we'll just be in there. So look, we're just going to go around. He looks like he's got a bit of a tan at the moment. That's right. We buff him back.
It looks like he's wearing a shell suit as well. That shine on it.
It's all right. I would say it didn't hurt anybody else, but it did actually, didn't it? Shell suit wearers. We won't talk about anybody who used to wear shell suits a lot. Right. Okay. Sorry. Back at the headshot. At least I'm not going bold. So anyway, quick buff up. Look, now we're polishing. So look, that's it. Get those skin tones in. Isn't that what they say?
Is this the fella that comes in the box?
Yeah.
It?
Yeah.
I've got one of these then. To have a go at
yeah, he comes with it. So that's it. Look, we just give him a quick buff up. And we're just buffing in those natural highlights and lowlights, is it? So that's it. Hold on, we'll just... That's it. So look, you can see the before and after of buffing effect. Hold on, I'll zip forward. And then we're now just polishing his face because obviously he had a bit of a tan. Okay, and then same with him as well. We're just going to polish him up a bit. That's it. Hold on. That's it. And then, hold on, where are we? That's it. And now we're dry brushing those highlights on. That's it, see? And then we just keep buffing him in and buffing him and buffing him, and there we go, he turns out like that. And then you just keep going until ta-da, piece of cake.
Cool.
Honestly, there you go, very straightforward, very easy. Right, okay, so over in the store, new arrival section. Andy, do you want to start there, or do you want to go
Can you
somewhere else?
just refresh that page, Phil?
Oh right, have you just updated?
Yeah.
She just put something
Oh
on.
look,
There it is.
look. Wow, like magic, they've appeared.
Oh, did it without even moving my hands?
Yeah, that's it.
That's what I was trying to do on the other screen. So yeah, we have the Desert Bay Tornadoes in stock.
It's good
obviously
value.
Yeah, it is. When you consider the price of the standard
Yes.
Revel kit, which is obviously it's a rebox of the Revel same second scale kit, which isn't a bad thing. Yeah, it is a really good value. You get a bit of resin in it, obviously the photo etched parts and the decals.
Yes. Again, as you say, for £21 in this day and age, so you get some really smart decal options in there. You get a couple of little bits in there of resin, don't you? Is it the seats you get or something?
Do you know? I can't even remember. I know you get wheels and things like that.
Is it the wheels?
In fact, I've got.
And you don't get tons, but
I think if you were to buy the standard Revel kit and the mask set, that's the same price as that. So you're getting all the other extras for free.
oh, there you go. So there you go. So actually, for once in our life, we've got a bargain. Because normally you look at Edard and think you could do it cheaper, but this one you definitely can't. So, yes, nice little kit as well, because this is our best in scale, isn't it?
Yeah, you get the ejector seats as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get seats and wheels.
Yeah, seats and wheels, yeah.
Photo etch, mask set.
Nice. But yes.
And markings for 8 aircraft.
Yeah, that's a good kit.
So there you go. Next week's questions. What colour would you paint it? We don't know.
Well, to fair, I have had somebody ask.
Oh, well, there you go.
Before it came on, what's the best colour to do it in that we sell in the shop? And I did say that I'll ask the guys on the show to substitute.
Probably
Yes.
that attacker colour.
Again, I don't know, we'll just do a quick recap. It's one of those things. Attacker do it, but honestly, depending on what day you're trying to model it, will depend on what colour it is, because they weathered really, really heavily. They got very dirty very, very quickly. So you go from being very light pink, probably in the early days, going in, and then by the time they came home, they were absolutely hanging. So,
Yeah.
you sort of pick your choices with that one, don't you?
Yeah, and the fuel tanks were literally painted in Leyland Blush, which is an emulsion.
Yes. And that's why the noses of them all peeled off, wasn't it? Because they literally, as they would just fly along, they would just wear off. So there you
I
go.
wouldn't. I'll try and find the Hataka colour match now.
You did message Andy, didn't you?
Yeah, I think he's not come back to me for some reason.
So
we've got tornadoes in. We've also got the Cobras.
Cobras, we spoke about. Video build is starting this week on that one, so part 1 of that will be up this time next week.
Yeah. We did have up until about an hour before we came on we had a whirlwind left, but they're now all out of stock. We will get some more in, just all our suppliers at the moment are all out of stock of that.
Yes.
Got the Revel T1 Camper and the T1 Sander, which are modifications of both the same kit.
Yes. And then obviously we've got the newer T2.
Which Matt built on the weekend. Which was a nice click together kit, but still nicely detailed. Still same scale as the others, and it's still got 130 odd parts, 180 parts. So yeah, still a nice kit. And the Volvo.
Hey, classic. Oh, load.
Yeah.
Load. There you go. Very nice.
Still don't know why they didn't do the 760 T5. To me, that's more of the sporty one, the top of the range one, but
It's a classic. It's an all-time classic.
The Hobby 2000 kits, which are all those ones are all the ex Hasegawa kits, so the 48th, JU 87, and the 1/72 scale F111s.
Yes.
Are all the Hasegawa kits.
So this review of this particular kit will be up with you on Monday. I've got it. I've done the review just to go up on Monday. I've just got to finish off the uploading it and whatnot, but that'll be up with you on Monday. Helldivers have all gone.
Yep.
As I say, we've got the Flying Fortress. This is the F, so it's the glass nose front one. We've got the Dornier 335 as well, nice one, and a few of these other ones down the bottom here. So Yarth, and then have a look at the specials. The specials is a rollover, obviously, from the weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, I've just tidied it up a bit and moved some stuff around. But yeah, it's the because of obviously being busy doing other things, with the store, and we did put a lot on last weekend anyway. We've not updated the specials, but we rolled those ones over.
Yes.
So we've got obviously the Airfix Canadair Sabre on special in the Cromwells.
Yes.
And the Pucara.
Very nice.
Volvo.
Yes. Volvo's at the moment, isn't it? Crikey.
Yeah.
And so yes, very nice. And as I say, we've got the usual damage box ones down the bottom, which we've spoken about before. So you can grab yourself one of those. Cool. Very, very good. And as always, we've got tons of new stuff coming in and out all the time, so just keep an eye out. As I say, next week we'll get all these tornadoes out and the various things. I don't know if we've got any other pre-orders due imminently we know about.
The only ones that we've obviously got the special hobby Sabre. Not Sabre. What's it called?
Oh, not Seafire, Tempest.
Tempest, sorry. Special hobby Tempest is hopefully due in soon.
Yes.
Actually, also on the specials, we've also got the at the moment we've got the Revel 114 Space Shuttle and also the Revel 110 Space Shuttle. You did the Senseka one, didn't you?
Yes.
Phil, a while ago.
I did the one with the tanks. Yeah.
Yeah, which they don't do anymore. They do the 114 with the on the launch pad with the tanks. But not the 10-second scale one anymore. But they're both available as a 40th anniversary. So
yes, there it is. So this is the 144, the little baby one, not the giant thing I've got over there. And also the other thing as well is that, again, mine's a little bit arse about face, so to speak. So this one here was the upgraded orbiter, so it's got the correct windows in it. The ones I've got are the wrong ones, and I had to scratch build the window frames for it all, because this is the more detailed orbiter. And if money was no object, what you would do is you'd buy that kit with all the boosters and all the rest of it, and you would put that orbiter onto it, because that's the proper one. The one I've got is actually Enterprise, which never went into space. It was just a glider test one. So that's the really, really nice one. And if you want to know how big that is, to give it a size thing, if I can get it down. It's huge. This is how big this is. So this is
amazing.
It's
Yes,
monster.
obviously the 72nd scale one doesn't come with.
It doesn't come with the tanks, but to give you an idea of how big the orbiter is, that's 72nd scale, which is crazy. So, you know, you think 32nd, 72nd, it is huge.
Yeah.
So, but yes, but unfortunately they haven't done the version with the tanks, which actually is a good thing, because this orbiter isn't that orbiter.
Yeah.
That's the good orbiter. This one is the pretty crap one. So, but yes, but it is absolutely huge. So if you want a large scale shuttle, then definitely grab that one, because this thing is just massive. Huge.
Or you get one half the size and get the 114 one.
Yeah, I'll just be sensible and have the 144, because that's still not small.
So that pre-order is only running until the end of the weekend.
Yeah.
We're putting orders in for them. We've also hopefully got coming soon the Border Models BF109s.
Yes.
Again, it's all down to shipping and when they actually land in the country. We don't know when they're coming in, but hopefully, as soon as they come in, we'll be getting them out. And also, hopefully, imminent will be a couple of Airfix kits.
Yeah.
Chipmunk and the Vulcan, so.
Yeah, it'll be some point this month.
Yeah.
And this thing, to be honest, as well, isn't it? The Bronco.
Bronco, yeah.
Shouldn't be long at all. So,
Yeah,
hopefully this month at some point they'll all be in.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's quite a lot due in soonish.
Can you pull up Attacker 68?
Attacker 68.
US Army Desert Sand it's called.
Attacker
Oh, right, that's what I think it's the best match doer.
68.
68, yeah.
Right now.
Should be US Army Desert.
68. Well, this swatch, don't forget, won't be right, but there you go.
Well, that's what Andy Walker, the leader of the Tornado Sig, used. He used it as a starting point and put other colours on top. But he used that paint to do his. He did the old Airfix Tornado in 48 scale with that paint because he said that's a good starting point for the Tornado.
Cool. Oh well. Hopefully then.
I did actually look on hand to see if we could get some
Extra acrylics.
extra acrylics in, but they're sold out.
They seem to come. Yeah.
Because I
Extra
thought
acrylics just to paint with.
they are, but it's the best colour, isn't it?
It captures the pinkiness just right.
Do they
but
do
I
it
think
as an enamel? Extra
I
paint?
did, yeah.
as a gloss enamel?
Give it a month to dry.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Using extra. Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
good luck with that one.
I'd start with that Attacker one because that probably looks. If you're putting your nose art on, it needs to be nicely weathered,
Yes.
not fresh and pink.
Just going back onto kits that Great Wall Hobbies, we've got the also we had on pre-order the Great Wall Hobbies B-52 that a few people pre-ordered. They might be landing soon actually as well. So there's a possibility that again until they actually arrive, we don't know that they're going to arrive. But when they do arrive, hopefully they'll arrive. If that makes no sense at all, doesn't it?
They get here when they get here.
Yeah, okay, when they get
I think it's the Airfix Vulcan that I'm starting to feel an itch for,
Well, that'll be this month. Won't be long. Okay, so another question is: Abteilung oils, are they better or the equivalent to artist oils? So I can sort of answer this because years ago I bought, just to show you, because I've still got it for some unknown reason, probably because I'm a hoarder, is I bought a set of cheap oil things like you do from, I don't know what it is, Bookworks or something. You know, this place where you buy cheap books and all the crap.
Yeah, I know the ones. Yeah,
you know those ones. Anyway, I bought a set of these, and I thought, oh, these are oils, because it says on there like De La Roni and all of that. So I thought, oh, it's got to be quite good. And I was using them, and as you can see, they've all been used down in here, and they never really worked. They were really what I call tidy, as in it got like Tide marks and all the rest of it. So a lot of it was that the thinners I was using normal enamel thinners from B&Q. So again, it's this thing, I think it's only as good as the mediums you're using with it. So if you're using a high quality artist oil with a cheap thinner, they don't work very well. Okay, and then the same way, if you're using expensive thinner, so if you've got like a low odor thinners and everything else like that, it won't go. But I bought this, which is low odor, De La Roni, this is De La Roni, and I got it to work then. It actually started to work quite well. But that said, Matt actually sent me, because he had a load of them left over from his previous store, a load of Abteilung. And I used them with this, and it was literally like night and day. It just works really very, very well. Now, I'm not saying that theirs are a million times better than other artists' ones, but again, it's that thing. If you're buying cheap oils, you know, you're always going to have that thing. But for some reason, well, from our point of view, it's good, but Abteilungs work really very, very well. And that is it. And I've never actually gone back. Yet for years, I just couldn't get them to work. Now I use oils with absolutely everything. So I would say, if you can, spend a little bit more. And to be honest, when you buy good quality artist oils, Abteilungs aren't any more expensive than anyone else's anyway. But you also want to make sure your thinners you're using with it, your enamel thinners, is of a high standard. Because if you use cheap thinners, you'll get not very good results. It's got to be good from both. And to be honest, you hardly use any of them either. You know, like these thinners here, I've been, well, we're just done with it. What now? Wherever I just put them, having a senior moment, there it is. I've only used that amount, so you hardly use any thinners anyway. You know, it's not like one of these things where you know this is a bottle, it's whatever price it was, but you hardly use it. It's literally a couple of drops because you're making up very small amounts. It's not like you're making up 10 mil all the time. You're making up 1 or 2 mil of thinners, and away you go with it. And it's the same with the oils, because my favourite one, to be honest, as everybody probably knows, is my Shadow, which is number 5, ABT 005 Smoke, and I've had this now for years, and I'm literally probably seriously only halfway through a tube, and I use it on everything, and it just lasts forever. So really, it might seem expensive when you buy them, but it lasts you forever, and that's the good thing to it.
I think, like you said, I think they're as good as a very good quality artist oil. But the thing is that the colour range is for what we need. It's specific to modelers.
Yes.
Whereas you're not going to find Starship Filth in a or smoke in, we possibly might get smoke, but it's like most of the colours that we use probably aren't in artist colours.
No.
Yeah, they'd mix them on a palette and make them into different colours, whereas they're ready specifically done for the colours we want them for. So it just makes it it's just easier, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
Of course it is.
And I've been using oil. I used to use Winsor & Newton ones, I think they were. I used to use Payne's Grey, Ochre, and another brown that I used to use for decades. And so I still got the tubes somewhere. I was looking on there; they're not on there. But the tubes are sort of 9/10 empty and so and crooked and bent and all sorts. But stop using them now because I just use the Abteilungs because they're the right colours.
So I've got artist oil paints and they are the same price as the Abteilung. But to credit, the same with the weathering pencils. You can get art branded ones, Derwent, the ones in the Lake District. They do the same pencils as the AK ones, but the colours. Yeah. Like Andy was saying, the colours that you get have been adapted. So they've obviously gone to one of these oil paint makers and said, could you do these colours for us? And that's the deal they've done, isn't it?
And that is the thing, because I said, I've done the test of it. These work exactly the same, and there is no difference between these, because I've used them, as you can see, and the actual weathering pencils. But as you can see, you don't get the colours, and with those you get the correct colours. So I know a lot of people say, oh, they're just the same as Fabers and all the rest of it. There you go. But if you look at the colours are in there, and obviously these are a little bit more vibrant.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the thing to it.
Bright yellow.
Yeah, bright yellow, and I've got like for big blues and stuff, but they are exactly the same. These are just, you know, AK weathering pencils are nothing new, but what is new is the colours that they bring, because they're not the standard colours that we're all used to using and stuff, so definitely.
It's just the right colour palette for a modder, isn't it? So,
and that's the thing as well, because obviously a lot of people say about, oh, they're just copying everything else. But if you have to buy a set of those, you've got all those colours you're never going to use. So you might as well buy the AK ones, then have all the colours you need in the little box set, and you're good to go.
I've got a set of normal ones
There
as
you
well.
go.
I mean, I know we've joked about AK weathering pencil sharpeners and stuff, but I actually think the products they make, like the pencils and the oil paints, they're quite keenly priced, actually.
Yeah.
If you do go to Dirt, you get the Derwent. I've bought a few singles. They're probably the literally exact same price as the AK stuff.
Do they make an AK pencil sharpener?
They do.
They do.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a special one that gives you a precise point.
Yeah.
Where you can, people moan, that these are just overpriced and you can make your own, but that's the whole point.
But yeah, we've often said this, I'm not being funny, enamel washes, yeah, of course you can make your own, but by the time you bought the stuff to make it, it's cost you more than it would be just to have a bottle.
Exactly.
I'm going to put some AK pencil sharpeners in the basket next time we're doing an order.
And now I've got a lot of time for AK. I think they're doing good products.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I must admit, out of them all, at least AKs is all really usable stuff. That seems to be the thing. Other manufacturers, sometimes they do stuff and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
So reinvent the wheel. Okay, Daniel says, afternoon guys, I'm moving on to acrylics based on my budget. What are your thoughts on Vallejo? And I'm going to build the 72nd Academy SR71. Your thoughts on this kit and the best way to finish it? Vallejo is, to be honest, Model Air, if you're thinking about it, is how I moved into acrylics properly back in the day, because they came along and you just squirt them and go and everything else like that. Now, to be honest, like I've said before, I've moved away from acrylics. I'm really into lacquers because they're just so much easier to use. But don't get me wrong, I fully understand the limitations to them. They stink. They're not as environmentally friendly as acrylics, and obviously not everyone's environment is, you really need an extractor if you're spraying lacquers and stuff. So, it is that thing if you want to go down that route with it. For doing an SR71, obviously you just need blacks. And one of the best blacks I would say for that is Tamiya's Rubber Black, which is XF85, is it? 85?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Because it's not like a NATO black, which has got that sort of greeny hue to it. It's got a sort of weirdy bluey hue to it, and it works quite well because it's like a rubber colour, and that's great for it. And that's what I would do for my starting block of painting that particular kit. The kit itself is quite old now, to be honest with you. We are seeing apparently a 48 scale one by Revell at some point this year. Which is just too big anyway, that's huge. But out of them all, wasn't it Italeri did a 72nd? Or is that the same kit?
Yeah. There's an ancient one that's been floating around for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know if that was maybe the same kit, just reboxed, I don't know. But
Academy.
the Academy one, again, is usually readily available. Not at the moment, but normally it is. It's probably a safe bet to go with. Again, if I remember rightly, if it's the one I'm thinking, that's the one with recessed panel lines where all the others have got raised. But weirdly, it has raised panel lines anyway in real life, doesn't it? It's a bit overlappy the way it works, because the entire thing's got gaps all over it and dribbles everywhere.
Did Testers do one?
Yeah, they did the 48th one, which I did. Yeah.
48th one.
Yeah, not good.
I'll just have a quick butchers on scale, mate.
Can I go back to my original thing? Is did they ever do a decent kit?
But no, so yeah, from that point of view, I think the kit itself, 72nd scale, that's probably where you're going to go at the moment anyway. For colours wise, for Valeos and paints like that, they work. They're really nice. The only thing I would recommend is getting yourself a flow improver, which you can buy. Vallejo do one of their own, which is this one, which is called a Retardo Medium, and it looks a bit like paste. Okay, hold on, as close as I can, which is this one. Which number for it is 70097. It's a bit like a gel, but what it does, it slows down the paint drying time. It stops it drying on the needle and stopping and starting and stuff like that. You can also get, if I can find it, artist type ones as well. This is the one I used to use all the time, which is called Flow Improver. This is Winsor & Newton's one. And again, a couple of drops in that in your mix will help it no end, because it will stop it drying. The other thing as well, which sounds a little bit daft, but I used to do it all the time, was to use airbrush cleaner. As you can see, it's like foamy. And again, this little bit of foam in here, it just helps it flow better than normal thinners does. So I used to use airbrush cleaner for thinning Vallejo Model Air. And it just, because this bubbles and that act just like this does. So use it as a thinner and to go in as well. It's a bit old school and I haven't done it for a long time now, but it used to work back in the day. If you want to see any of these, just pop onto the Flooring Models site. Okay, if you go to, not that one, if you go to tutorials, click in tutorials, then go to the middle one, feature 2, which is airbrushing. And then look at the videos in here, because all of these videos I'm usually using Model Air or Tamiya acrylics. As I say, we're going to be updating it in the summer and doing a load more live seminar type ones on this. Okay, so but a lot of these ones, have a look at those videos. They're all free to watch, and that's me using Tamiya Model Air on a lot of the models for the live demos that I did back then as well.
Just in a chat, Graham says, Andy, if you open your pencils, yeah, open them. I've not used them because I've got some more AK pencils. I've got loads of them somewhere and I lost them, but yeah, I've got some more AK pencils that I have used them. I quite like them, and Matt's recently bought an AK book on using weathering pencils.
I've just downloaded that book this morning.
Yeah. I was looking through it at work, and it's quite interesting actually. I might need to revisit using pencils now I play with them, because some interesting stuff in it.
Well, the thing is, the people we know who are quite good at this modelling lark, they use them all the time and say they love them. And it's like, I really need to learn how to use them and have a proper go with something. But again, all of them have said it's not really for aircraft and stuff like that, although you can use it. But for armour, it's perfect. So I need to do a bit of armour and have a go with them.
I think just to go back to the SR71, I think the Academy kit is coming out on top. Brett Green spoke quite highly of it. But yeah, I reckon you've got a good one.
You should be right with that one, as I say. Yeah. I built the Testers 48th one back in the day and it was awful. That was just bad, shocking.
It's a 2001 bottom tooling, so it's not, that should be fine.
Well, one of the guys mentioned that about Kitty Hawk, that hadn't had the Voodoo in stock and then it went missing out of stock. Fair, we were ordering stock, weren't we, last night, and
literally, yeah,
it had gone out of stock as soon as you put it in the basket. It wasn't in there anymore, was it?
Again, like we said at the top of the show, if you didn't see it, we're guilty of it as well. We've pulled our stocks for the moment because we sold out instantly, and it went like a feeding frenzy last night with all the Kitty Hawk stuff because everyone just went ballistic. So we just pulled it for the moment. And again, we're sort of, like everybody now, we've got orders in with, obviously our suppliers and importers and things like that. And we're waiting to hear from them. They don't know either at the moment. No one knows. So it's a case of when, obviously, it will filter its way down. And then obviously we can pass the information on to you guys as well. But it may be a case that they are still going to be selling through a certain site, which they've been doing for years now, which seems to be their retail outlet. Oh God, no, not now. Sorry, there's an Arctic lorry just pulled up out the front. He's now backing away. It's all right, he's obviously going somewhere else.
How many kits Phil's ordered?
Yeah, here comes the Kitty Hawk delivery. So...
It does say it's been dispatched as well, so...
Does it? Oh, right, okay. So on Monday, we might have a restock of Kitty Hawk. But yeah, well, as I say, we don't know. When we find out, obviously we'll pass on all the information to you guys, but at the moment we are as in the limbo and in the dark as everybody else is. But yes. Jerry just says, afternoon all. For those awaiting the Airfix 48 scale Chipmunk, Kit's World have released a load of decals for it. And there's 3D printed ones as well for the T10, £10.50. So that looks good. Looking to buy a Sparmax compressor. Are they good for the price? You can't go wrong. And to be honest with you, like we often say here, iWater compressors, they're all Sparmax. They're just relabeled Sparmax. So go straight to the source, save yourself a little bit of money and buy them there. But the 610, 620s, things like that, which we've all got, you know, they are fantastic. Still going strong. Can't go wrong with those.
Matt's got two.
Matt's got two. Yeah, he's got my one and he's got Andy's for some reason. So that's a point. Conrad Buller, did I see him with a car compressor? Is he going to try and rig that up, is he?
It's his son's doing the
ballet business.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. I just saw the photo. Hello, gentlemen. I've been following some modelers from Japan on Twitter, and they use paintbrushes to finish their models. The results are fantastic. A very unique and different feel. The thing is, I've got a couple of my friends from that part of the world, and the way that they do their modelling it's very different to how we do it over in the West. So, for instance, scrape cleaning in Japan is normal. You don't even use a sander. They do everything with scrape cleaners. Sanders are used for just finishing touches. Where we get in there with a sander and sand away stuff, they scrape clean and they nick with the knife a lot and that type of thing. So again, it's like I've got very much into scrape cleaning over the last few years and do all my models that way now. And a bit like masking up, they use liquid masks and stuff and cut in and all of those things. Yeah, over here we don't tend to do it that way. We tend to use biomass sets and tape and various things. So yeah, it's definitely different ways of doing things. As long as it turns out right, you're okay. But yeah, everyone has their own way. Hi Phil, the announcement was shown on Scale Model Podcast. Hold on, what are we talking about here? Have I missed something? What are we talking about? Excellent quality for the price. Sorry, I've obviously clearly missed. I've come halfway through that. I'm trying to catch up with the feed. Oh, sorry, the guys are all talking about.
Andy, is there any plans to add books to the PM stock?
No, not really. It's sort of like one of those things that where do you start and where do you finish with books? You know, there's companies that deal with it in just books, and it's not really if it was up to Matt, he'd buy every single one for himself, and yeah, you'd never get them selling because he'd have them all. But I mean, if there was something that you wanted and we can get hold of it, we could order it especially for you. But it's not. I don't think it's something that we're going to do, is it, Phil?
No. As I say, I'm not being funny. Know your limitations. It's a bit like with airbrushes and that. There's companies who specialise into it, and we've got good friends of ours who are book stockists as well, and they've got probably hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of stock. To be able to do it. It's all very well just having a few books in and things like that, but if you're going to do it properly and have them up, it's a massive investment. And yeah, books is quite a specialist type of thing, really. So you're probably better off going to, the book worlds of these places and stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah. Can just Russell Morgan has posted. He says third time lucky. So I imagine he's asked the question. We missed it. Oh, stop moving. Is LP24 Tamiya lacquer clear? For what? It's flat base, so it's. I don't know that you'd have it filled. It's flat base, so it'll be the same as LP. So X21, I presume.
No, 26. Hold on, 23.
20 LP 20. What did he say?
26.
Oh no, LP 24. He said.
I've got 23, which is flat clear. I don't know. Don't think I've got that one.
LP 24.
LP9 is.
It's LP 24. There isn't an LP 24.
All right. Well, LP23 is flat clear, which is just a clear coat.
Unless it's a clear.
Yeah.
LP24 semi-gloss.
Oh, so that's a satin. So yeah, they're not flat base. It's different. I think the only flat base is 21 X21 as an acrylic, and that's the stuff that's like paste.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently my figure, the skin colour's not right. Here we go again.
It's in primers and varnishes, that's why.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so it's as we were saying, that about using glosses, flat coats, and then in between you've got the semi-gloss, the satins, haven't you?
Yeah.
So 23 is a flat, 24 is a satin, and 22 is a clear. No. 9's clear in the LP range. Yeah, clear satin, so that's exactly what you're after, mate. LP 24 for satin. And an alternative also is AK Real Colour. Do is it the 500s?
Yeah, I haven't tried any of those yet. I want to have a go with them.
I've tried the satin. It's quite nice. That's RC 501 satin. That's nice. I've not tried the other ones, but yeah. Yeah, it is nice. I'm still a stickler. I do like my GX 100. So
yes. I must admit, another good one, if you know, is Hataka's. I use Hataka's clear coats. They're good as well. They work.
Yeah.
But again, the thing is with lacquer, the weird thing is they all tend to work roughly the same. You know, it's not like with acrylics, and sometimes they're really different. So, Andy's gone 8-bit.
Have I?
Yeah, he's got a bit jerky. He's like,
A lag.
He's got a bit of lag.
I won't move then, and then maybe.
Yeah, that's it. No one will notice then.
Don't move too much.
Yeah. Graham says he likes RC 500, 501 and 502. It's always worth having, especially this day and age at the moment, is having an alternative to what you like to use all the time. Because we know from dealing with suppliers that a lot of them are still struggling to get everything in that they need. And we put orders in, and so not necessarily it always comes in. Tammy glues, for example.
Yes.
Struggling for at the moment. Yeah, stand by for the rush on RC and Attacker clear.
I'd like to have a go with them because, to say, I've never tried those, so it will be quite an interesting one to see how that one works out. But to be honest, I imagine they'll work fantastic. So it just depends on how they are, because they're the RC colours. They are in the armour range, aren't they? If I remember rightly.
Yes, they are. Yes,
so does that mean they're very
in...
flat in finish, like the other armour colours are, or are they more satiny? You know, I know because obviously it's still gloss and that, but how are they going to go? Is in their usage?
No, I think they just fall in that range because it's the standard and armour range.
So yeah, there I haven't used them. You see, so like their standard red, is that dead flat or is it like a satin or a gloss?
I think it's a satin.
Yeah, which would fall more into actually the air range, isn't it? Because the air range are all satiny. So.
We've got a question from Darren. What would you use LP49 Pearl Clear for?
Pearl clear coats.
So
the thing is, like we said before, a lot of the LP range is a descendant from the Tamiya car world of colours and stuff. So what it is, when they discontinued a lot of their cans and aerosols, they just went into that. So that's why you get like mica red, and there's like 3 or 4 different colours of red, isn't it? for all the different colours, and there's various colours of blues, like the golds. There's like champagne gold and all these different colours of it. So like the mica colour is literally just to give it that sort of pearlescent, colourful metallic look.
Yeah.
So yes, but yeah, all good. So yeah, so lots of good advice in the chat, obviously, about compressors and things. So yes, good stuff. Right, well, if there's no other questions, just seeing I've got loads of little messages coming through, which is probably people talking about Kitty Hawk. So yes, max headroom, there's a blast from the past. Crikey. So you've been out on the lash, you come home, you're eating your stone cold kebab, and you've got max headroom on the telly. Those were the days.
They're right, we've just sold out to tornadoes.
Have we? Oh, are they all gone?
How many? They didn't last long, did they? They went up.
To be fair, I didn't put them all into stock, but I put 6 into stock. We have got more than that because I just wanted to make sure I got all the orders out for everybody else first. But
Yes, yeah, we got to make sure obviously all the pre-orders go.
yeah,
So
I
yes.
just wanted to be 100% sure I got that right. I mean, we did have a lot come in, over 100. What was it, 110 kits?
Yeah, we
Well,
got
it was
100,
only 7.
yeah, we got over 120 kits on the way. Well, have come in. So
Yeah, so by the time Phil gets a review sample, there'll be none left.
yeah, there will be none ref. It'll be like, we send you down a review sample. No, sorry, we can't. We've sold them all, which is normally what happens.
When they said they sold out already, I think, God, to them.
No.
Put another couple in just to. There's a room for another 2 more.
I'll want to double check them to make sure I'm happy with where we are with figures before I start. Yeah.
Cool.
It's
Okay.
nice to surprise how popular tornadoes are.
Yeah. There should be enough for a load more to go in, but
Yeah.
So I'll just see how it's all going. So very, very good. Right. Okie dokie then, guys. We will call it right there. For some reason, that's all going over. So usual thing. Don't forget, you've obviously got the last part of the actual zero is up with you right now. I say it's about 1 hour and 8 minutes in total, so it's quite a full-on one. I know you've just been watching it in there, but obviously it's in there. If you want to see more photos of it, obviously flick over to the site. If you go onto video builds, and then if you go into, obviously click 1, you've got all the photos, and again they're all in high res when you click on them and go through, and you can see all the various pictures down in there, and then obviously all the ones down in here as well, so you can just literally go in and have a good poke around in there if you want to see them all, and the little reveal video is down in there as well. So cool. And obviously all your reviews, and again I'll get another review for you up on Monday, and then obviously I will start on this next week and go right through it. And for the people asking about will I be using ICM's color thing for it, no, because funny enough that one color that I need for this isn't in that set. Don't do it. Turns out Tamiya XF something 59 is that colour, which doesn't look right at all, so we'll have to see how that one goes. So yes, good job. Anyway, as always on a Friday, I'm going to leave you with your great work from the gallery, as long as I have queued it up correctly. Thinking about this, I was doing it on the fly a bit. Hopefully it'll be in there. If not, I'll be back in a second re-queuing it. But anyway, if we're all done then, gentlemen?
yeah.
All good. Okay, thank you very much, obviously, to Andy and to Nathan for joining me today. Thank you very much for you joining us this week. We'll be back with you on Tuesday properly. Let's make our way through. I'll be with you with the Tuesday show, and then obviously the guys will be on. Andy will be on with me on Wednesday, no doubt, and then back live on Thursday night, and then obviously back here again next Friday as make our way through, and then obviously more reviews, and obviously we'll get some build videos up with you as well as make our way through. So happy modelling, take care. We will see you all again very, very soon. Say goodbye, gentlemen, and we'll play the reveal. Bye.
Bye.